Welcome to lesson 98, equations in slope-intercept form. Okay, here's our objective, some vocabulary for you. Okay, so basically, what are we talking about? The y equals mx plus b is called the slope-intercept form of a line, where m is the slope. Now, we see here that 2, but we got to think 2 to 1, because slope equals the y divided by the x. That's what the slope is. It's, the change in y divided by the change in x. So whenever you see slope, think of a fraction. And if it's a whole number, then the change in x is 1. And we see the change here. For every 2 in y, we go over 1 in x. And b is your intercept. That's your intercept, your y-intercept. Not your x-intercept, but your y-intercept. And that's where the line starts. And this is very useful for graphing. The slope-intercept form of a line. Okay, so given the graph, identify the slope and the y-intercept. Then write the equation of the line. So we see our intersection point is 0, 1, but we only want the y-coordinate of the intercept. And then let's figure out the slope of the line. Now, when you're looking at a line through a graph, you want where the line goes through the corner of a box. It must go through the corner of a box. And it looks like here and at the intercept. So, okay, so what's our change? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It went down 5, so that's negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So our m equals 5 over 7, negative 5 over 7. Our b equals 1. So we will write y equals negative 5 over 7 x plus 1. Okay, for our next line, our next example, identify the slope and y-intercept and graph the line. So there's no b, so that means plus 0 is 0. So that means this line goes through the origin, and we go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we will connect our line. Through these points. So anytime you don't have a plus or minus anything, your line will go directly through the origin. Okay, let's look at our next example. Change the standard form of a line into slope-intercept form, then graph the line. So you will be asked to do this a lot, changing forms. So we first want to subtract 2x from both sides because we have to isolate the y. Negative 2x plus 5. You cannot add a letter to a number. And please go back and look at some of my earlier videos dealing with we subtracted 2x from both sides. We cannot add a letter to a number, so the 2x and plus 5 are different terms. I was telling you to go back and look at some of our earlier videos dealing with simplifying algebraic expressions. They're at the very beginning of this algebra series. The next step I did was divide both sides by 2, because when you solve an equation, it's positive 1 in front of whatever you're solving for. And because we're solving for y, it's positive 1y equals negative 1x plus 5 halves. So now we will plot the points. So our m is negative 1, which means negative 1 over positive 1, and our b equals 5 halves, which is what, 2.5? So we come through here, then we go over 1 and down 1. Over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1. And so that means this line is going down from left to right. And that's how we plot our line. Okay. One more example for you guys. Write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Slope 0, y-intercept of -3. The slope is 0, so that means it's a flat line. And so what do we have? Y equals mx plus b. If our slope is 0, that means 0 times x plus -3. Y must equal -3. And we know from earlier when we were looking at slope by itself, anytime you have y equal to something, you're going to get a horizontal line. And finally, write an equation of the line with a slope of -5/4 and goes through the point -8, in slope-intercept form. Okay, so there's all kinds of ways to do this. So what you can do is start at -8 and then go down 5 and over 4. So this will be -4. This is -5. And your line would look like that. So I'm going to do that first. Then we go down 5 again and over 4. And that will come through at -10. So our B is -10. And so y equals -5/4. The slope always multiplies the x minus 10. So we see that we can use the slope and factor out the slope. I wish I had a grid here for you to show you what I did, but I just basically went down 5 and then went down another 5. That's how I got to -10. I went over 4 twice, and that's how I got back to 0. So by using a slope, I actually made my triangles. And I know they're not perfect. They should have been a little bit bigger and neater for you. But I didn't draw the line well enough before I drew the triangles. So it is very easy to do this once you have some graph paper, some coordinate plane. Draw it out. It is very easy to do. Okay, so those were our 5 examples. Please try the practice problems, and I will meet you at the end of the video. Identify the slope and y-intercept and graph the line. So at -5, we have a straight line. Anytime you have a flat line, the slope is 0. The y-intercept is -5. Change the standard form of line in the slope intercept and then graph the line. So subtract 2x. 3y equals -2x minus 1. Divide by 3 on both sides. Y equals -2/3 x minus 1/3. Okay, so start at your y-intercept, which is about 1/3. We're going to go down to 1, 2, and over 3. 1, 2, 3. Down 2, and over 1, 2, 3. So and here we go. And then we just draw the line. And it should look something like that. Our next example. Okay, write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Slope is -8/5. Y equals -8/5 times x plus 6. So they want us to go down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our line will look something like that. Okay, so write an equation of a line with slope of 6, 5 and goes through the point 6, -2. 6, 5. So this is your change in y, and this is your change in x. Okay. Now we can draw it, and it goes through the point 6, -2. Okay, so we're going to try it by drawing it, and we're going to do the math. So 6, -2. So if we call this 6, and we call this -2, we're right here. So now from 6, -2, I made a mistake. I want to put the y on top. So let's put the y on top. All right. So -2, 6. We're going to add 6 and 5 to get to 4, 11. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 4. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 4, 11, or 11, 4. And remember, the y and the x are in opposite spots. So this will be our line. But we have to find where this goes through the y-axis. So what we want to do is work our way backwards. Okay. So if we go down 6, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, and go over 5, left, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're not quite at through the intercept. So this is 1, -8. And we're not going to go cleanly through the intercept, y-intercepts. So this becomes a little difficult. There is an easier way to do this in an upcoming video dealing with point slope form of a line, and we'll talk about that soon. So from 1, -8, you would -6 and -5, and we get you to -7, -13. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. So I see where problem 4 was not very clean. So if you did not get a good answer for number 4, hold that thought. We're going to come to it. I don't want to introduce a new way of doing something in this video. I will come to it in another video. So if you got an answer, hold on to that answer until we get to point slope form of a line, and then come back and check this one. And I will remember to check this one. M equals 6 over 5 and through to 0.6 negative 2. I'm writing this down. I will revisit this problem in another video, but you do not get a clear way of finding the intercept. So our y equals 6 over 5x plus b. We did not come to a clean calculation for b. So I'm going to end this video here, and we'll pick up this problem in another video.